All right, day one of Missouri. It's not hunting season yet for us, but we're gonna go out. We're gonna scout a little bit. Anything you want to say, Luke?
No, we got a couple places to, I guess, yes.
This is Outdoor Lore. Come outside with us as Andrew, Luke, and our family and friends go outside and create memories, stories, and traditions that will be passed down for generations. Welcome to Outdoor Lore.
Welcome to Outdoor Lore.
Outdoor Lore.
Morning. It is November 13th, and I'm just pulling out of my driveway with the truck and the trailer, headed to pick up Andrew, and we're on our way to Missouri.
Day one out in Missouri. Gun season starts tomorrow. We're gonna be mostly archery hunting is the plan, but we have our rifles just in case we get a little bit desperate. Anything you want to say? We're about to go scout a little bit, Luke.
No, I did it again.
Just
Yes. We're looking forward to distraction. I hate this thing. All right. We're going to go scout 4 areas, maybe 5 areas today. See what we can see. We got high hopes, and there's nobody else around right now. That's probably all going to change in the morning. So we're going to check out a couple different spots that we've scouted on the maps and are interested in seeing.
Your eyebrows are crazy right now. Find deer sign, cover lots of ground. That's the game plan. Let's do it. Going into the woods.
As I just said, the game plan for our approach to scouting was pretty straightforward. Cover lots of ground, find sign, find bedding areas, find funnels. If there's nothing noteworthy, keep it moving. We had one day to figure out as much as we can in an area that is practically sight unseen for us. We're parked at the top of this little finger ridge here, and we dove off opposite sides of it. Luke had e-scouted some thermal cover he wanted to check out, and I was headed downhill into creek bottoms looking for funnels and low-lying bedding areas, before I eventually cut uphill to see how things compared at higher elevations versus the lowlands.
All right, immediately. I'm not even, let's see, the truck. Not even 50 yards away from the truck. We got a pretty gnarly fresh scrape. I'm still eating my banana. That's how far I've made it. So that's a good sign. Just a little pine tree. So I'm gonna keep on going down this way. There's a creek bottom down at the bottom here. It intersects with another creek and then shoots off back that way. That's my plan of attack. See what we can find. All right, we came way up over this ridge. There's 2 creeks that run along through there. And now I'm on top of this plateau that then falls off on this side. And as I was walking from up here, I noticed this, which is a little pond. And we got, for sure, buck track right here, right up to this pond, up on top. So I'm gonna walk around a little bit and see if I can see any other clear sign. I think it's bedding on the other side over there. So I'm wondering if I can set up, and there's clearly been stuff walking in and out right here. I don't see any rubs, but I'm gonna wander around, see if I can see any other clear sign. This is probably, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile away from where the truck was. But we'll check back in if I see anything else that's interesting.
Meanwhile, Luke is working his way downhill alongside some super thick cedar trees and dense bedding areas outlined here in red.
All right, so this is the kind of thing that I'm looking for. Over here I got really, really thick, dense cover. It's cedars, it's like you couldn't push through that. And then there's a path coming out here. There's a big rub and scrape right back there. I can get uphill of it a little ways at least for a morning sit, and let my thermals pull up out of this ditch. Hopefully have bucks come in and check this bedding area. I'm not sure if I'll sit here tomorrow, but I'm definitely gonna pick a tree in here just to be prepared. This looks pretty good. All right, this is just another view. So over here, this is the back side of that thick bedding area. And I'm standing in like a dry creek bed. And then right up here, this is all cliff. From here up to there is just a cliff face, impassable for deer. It looks like it comes all the way around. This is not a cliff that they couldn't pass, but it is over here. So they're kind of funneled. And I've talked about funnels and how I don't always believe in them, but between this point and there, if they don't want to, if a buck doesn't want to traipse through bedding, he's got to travel that portion to scent check this whole bedding area. So what I'm gonna do is find a tree, maybe that one, and just mark it. Because if the wind's right and it's coming out of bedding this way, a buck's generally going to feel pretty safe walking down this corridor with a cliff to his right to scent check this. So we might be a little late for this, but if you were here on 8th or 9th in this spot, you would kill the buck. I'm confident on it.
After this, Luke worked his way along a power line easement through the bedding area and picked another tree on the opposite side near some clear, fresh sign, and then scouted his way back up towards the truck. After deciding I didn't love what I saw up on top of the plateau that I was last on, I decided to work my way down towards the river bottom and see what sort of sign I could find down there.
I made it off that plateau that was up there with the water hole. Came down the ridge. Not much sign besides game paths and what looked like a couple bedding areas. Now we are down here at this little creek, a little bit more than a creek, but something that I like to do, at least, is find where they're crossing the river. So there's a couple tracks here. I'm going to probably cut upwind into the river. Luke is somewhere off that direction. So I'm going to walk away from him and see if there's any clear, really clear river crossing locations. I'm going to figure out where I can get across. I think I should be able to hop over right down there. And I'll cut up the river and see if I see any crazy pinch points or funnels that they're clearly walking across the river. And we'll go from there. That's the plan. I got about an hour or so before I got to get back to the truck before we go to the next spot. Nothing screaming bucks just yet.
Right or wrong, I'm not sure, but my whole thought process during this hunt was try to figure out where other hunters were least likely to want to go. Places where you have to go across a river, down a steep gully, up a steep ridge, through super thick underbrush. Just try to find spots where deer can go pretty easily, but another fella isn't going to want to have to go through whatever you have to go through to set up in the dark to hunt that spot.
All right, here's what we're looking for. We got drainage that comes down out of bedding over there. This is all good bedding area. And I came down off that ridge over here, came across, walked along the riverbank this way. And it's just torn up with tracks going across. So I'm gonna walk in here, right across into the center of the little creek, see if I see any clear sign in there. And then I'll probably cut back across the river down that way and keep looking for the top spot that they're coming across. But I mean, there's probably 3 dozen sets of tracks right here, which I just like to know where deer are moving and try to piece together where they might be coming across and coming down to drink the water. It is crystal clear. Never seen anything like it. It is just unbelievable how clear this water is.
After moving upstream a bit further, I found a very clear entry and exit point from the bedding area that I was going to try to go push in a little bit closer to try to find an aggressive spot where if the wind was right, I could set up just adjacent to the bedding.
All right. That is what we're looking for. Still pretty fresh. Leaves aren't blown over where he was standing. And that's a pretty big tree. It's still wet even from getting rubbed on. Oh, there's a scrape right here too. That's also fairly fresh. Okay. This is good. This is, again, right near bedding area, right near that crossing. So we're gonna sort of work our way the direction that this looks like it was traveling from, sort of walk against it. Probably this funneled out across the creek where we were just at the crossing. Rather than walking straight into the bedding, I'm gonna walk along it, see if I can find a string of scrapes, and see if we can piece something together about where, based off of that, a pretty angry, pissed off, sizable buck is hanging out. So here we go. All right, we're about 50 yards from where that scrape was. We are in it now. This is all clear beds, and there's almost no wind here. We're surrounded by cedar trees and clear deer trails running straight that way. So I'm gonna keep following them, and then I'll bang a left back towards the truck. But this seems like a spot that I would like to be somewhere near. Yeah, got a little mushroom. We're in the next piece of land, probably 30 minutes or so, maybe 10 miles away from where we just were. A couple little rubs around. I'm in some real scrubby stuff, which could be bedding, but it doesn't really look like it. There was a lot of rubs on the way in. We're doing a bit of a loop over towards where Luke's friend had scouted for us, and sort of just putting eyes on it ourselves and seeing what we see. This one doesn't have that same creek/river running through it, but Luke's going to check out a pond that's sort of up at the top of the mountain. This might be a place that we end up tomorrow afternoon, evening. It's supposed to be real warm, so we'll see if we sit all day, but I'm gonna push through that and see what I can find. Like I was just saying, lots of little rubs, but this is not huntable, so that was what I just said I was going to push through. So lots of little rubs. See if it opens up and we can make heads and tails of this piece of land. We're about 20 yards from right where we just were. Still lots of sign. Little rub, little scrape, another little rub over there. Again, this is still completely unhuntable, but we're gonna keep pushing through. See what we find. Lots and lots of sign, but again, there's no way you're hunting right here. All right, initial thoughts?
I think you definitely need to spend some time in here.
From here on out, it's essentially the same strategy on a few more conservation areas. Tune in the next couple of weeks to see if Luke and I pull it off in Missouri. Thanks for watching.